there's no way to put this in text, so I have to just show you with a video. Okay, so here's what's happening. This effect sequence, basically, when you hit force, is going to change between a few different layers. So that's one layer, that's another, not layers, I shouldn't say that. Effect sequence is a list of elements, okay? If this were a simplified list, okay, let's just say this was, instead of that big long thing, that was just blue. And let's say instead of this big long thing, this was just red, okay? Now, and this moves down because this is the closing bracket for this, okay? So that is the opening of the effect sequence part. This is the closing of the effect sequence part. And when it's all like, when it was just this, it's hard to read because it's one long line. But this is really the first element in the list. So when you hit force, it's going to alternate your main blade. This is a layer, it's going to go on top of it. So this is whatever he's calling it, a ripple swing and an unstable swing, okay? This is the first element. Now, notice that alpha layer, okay, this opening bracket, that closes with this closing bracket, okay? And that's how we know that that's one element. And I'm just going to space them out so we can see. So do effect force, you're going to change the sequence each time through a new element. So this one first, and then when you do it again, you're going to have this longer one. But again, the second bracket, this 450 is closed with this bracket. This closes this alpha one here. And this last bracket, which I'm going to hit return, move it around. Again, this one closes effect sequence. See, it opens here. This is where it closes. Anything in the list is what it's going to go through. So to say that you can just uncomment this doesn't work, because what this is just, it's like storage space. Like he's storing it here for you to use, but this needs to be in the list. See, this is closed here, so the list is closed as of here. If you really want that in there, you should take it out from this spot, cut, and paste it into the list. Okay, so here's what's going on. You can see he's already got that in there. See, here's option 1, and here this brown noise flicker one. Look, I'll copy this and I'll paste it up here. See how that's exactly the same too? So I guess what's going on is the options are already baked into this effect sequence. I just undid all that, right? You already have the list of those two elements. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the closing of effect sequence. So I don't know. See, it does say the two below. So what it's saying is you have a force toggleable swing effect. Every time you trigger force, it's going to alternate your swing to either be a ripple swing or an unstable swing, depending on how many times you've hit force. This is the first time, this is the second time. And then the things he used to build that are listed here for some reason. So I don't really know why, but you don't add it in. Like, they're already there as things. Let's see what else is going on. So here's responsive lockup. He puts his comments after the thing instead of before, but once you know that, you can okay, this is responsive lockup, so that's this. Then there's another lockup here, and that is an alternate responsive lockup using a Beskar heat up effect. Right now this is just a placeholder until OS 6 brings intensity, blah 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 blah. But what he's saying is if you wanted to use this lockup instead, okay, then you would uncomment this lockup and you would comment out this lockup. So now you just have this one lockup in there, and that's the alternate responsive lockup. Lightning block is just lightning block, that's fine. Stab is stab with blue. Responsive stab with white, here's your alternate version. So if you want that instead, you would comment out the blue one and you could uncomment out the white one. Alright, so this is confusing why he's got the actual elements that are contained within this effect sequence listed underneath, but that's not the way these other things work. The other ones are just comment out the one you don't want and leave one that you do want. So here are the two stab options. You can either do blue or you can do white, and just one of them can be uncommented. So if you wanted the blue again, you would comment that, you would uncomment that. That's the way most of the other ones work. Spark ignition tip, transition of optional alternate passive battery monitor on boot. Yeah, so if you wanted to see your battery meter every time you boot, you would uncomment that. They're like switches just to turn these things on or off. But the confusing part was this part, because these aren't alternate versions. These are the actual contents of what he used here. I guess if you wanted to make this something different, you could, but right now using this would be identical to what's already here, as you can see when you do that. So maybe that helps clarify some stuff. That was long.